Hello, my name is Brent Schmidt. I'm the city engineer for the city of Evansville. And today we're here to discuss the road improvements that are proposed for the year of 2015. We will also look at the road improvements that were completed by my office in the city in 2014. Every year we take this opportunity to reach out to the citizens of Evansville and all users of our roadway facilities to allow them the opportunity to provide input as to what roads need addressed and identify any roads that we may not be aware of already from calls and concerns from the public, as well as the elected officials and those identified by the staff in my office. So now we're going to take a look at the work completed and what we have proposed for 2015. So first, we're often asked who we are and what do we do. In the city engineer's office, we are responsible for road reconstruction and paving. All of this work is contracted out through our office, and we are able to be reached at 812-436-4990. In coordination with this, we work very closely with the street maintenance department, who's responsible for pothole patching, alley repairs, pavement striping, marking, street signage. All of this work is performed in-house by employees of the city of Evansville, and the street maintenance department can be reached at 812-435-6000. So now I'd like to speak a little bit about some of the improvements that were completed in 2014 throughout the city of Evansville. And the first was Lynch Road between Oak Hill Road and US 41. Our office identified this as a need for improvement, so we developed a contract and let it, in which we went in and milled out and removed 1.5 inches of pavement and placed 1.5 inches of pavement back. And this is a picture looking west from Oak Hill Road. Here's another photo of this section of roadway looking just east of Max Road, back up towards Oak Hill Road. The next section of roadway that we identified was First Avenue from Old Post Road, just north of Central High School, to the city-county line at Crattsville Road. This section of roadway starts out as a 5-lane section of roadway and terminates at a 4-lane section of roadway. And in this project, we also milled and overlaid the section of road. So we, again, removed 1.5 inches of pavement and put 1.5 inches back. And by doing this, you allow the curb exposures to remain the same, or the height of the curb to remain the same, as well as the area that the drainage inlets catch, and so it does not increase the amount of flooding that occurs. And here's a picture looking south from West Campground Road. If you're familiar with the area, the Highland Baseball Diamonds are to the left of this photo, and Wolf's Barbecue is behind and to the right. The next section of road, which was resurfaced last year, was Belmead. This section of roadway received an overlay only and was actually a holdover from the year 2013. The reason that this work was not completed in 2013 as originally planned was due to coordination with Vectren, who completed their bare steel cast iron gas line relocations in the area. So we wanted to wait and allow them to complete their work prior to putting down a new roadway surface, so that they wouldn't be coming in right behind us and cutting new areas of the roadway up to complete their work. And this is a picture looking west from Bakey. Here's a picture of Belmead west of South Lombard Avenue. The next project that was completed in 2014 was the Oak Hill Road reconstruction from the Pigeon Creek Bridge to Lynch Road. This consisted of completely reconstructing the roadway, adding concrete curbs and gutters on both sides, south of Max, and new sidewalks on the east side of Oak Hill Road, as well as a dedicated bike lane on the roadway surface for the length of the project. It is the first complete street in the city of Evansville, and it came at a cost of $4.9 million, of which 80% was federal funding, and it was completed and opened to traffic on July 3rd of 2014. And here's a photo of Oak Hill Road just north of Max Road. And as you can see, there's a single lane of through traffic and a double left turn lane. And this cross section of roadway will carry the same amount or oftentimes even more traffic than a 4-lane section of roadway, because you allow the left turning vehicles who typically stop through traffic to get out of the traveling way and be able to make their left turn into their driveways or approaching streets. Another photo just south of Capitol, and you can see the bike symbols and the arrows in the dedicated bike lanes that are located on both sides of the roadway, north and southbound. And this is a picture looking north from the Pigeon Creek Bridge, where the roadway transitions from a 4-lane section if you're northbound to a 3-lane section, and vice versa coming southbound, in order to meet the needs and capacity that's required at the intersection of Oak Hill and Morgan, which is south of this photo location. Our office also completes concrete street repairs. This is a picture of concrete streets that were repaired in 2014. It's at Tudor Lane, just north of Vogel. And our office identifies these locations with the help of the public and elected officials, and then again, observations of my staff in the field, and we'll identify those areas and replace individual concrete panels. The individual concrete panels are the squares that you can see outlined on the screen there. And so we'll go in and dig those out and replace those concrete panels to resolve any settlement issues or cracking that is occurring. Here's another location of Maxwell Avenue, east of North Fairs Avenue. You can see further in the background of the picture, there's still some cones and barrels out as we're still completing the work in this location. And typically you see the concrete sections of roadway in the older portions of the city and in the highly commercial areas because they tend to stand up better to heavy commercial semi-traffic and vehicles. Another large part of what our office does is we attempt to preserve our existing pavement sections. And our office in the past has focused mainly on crack and joint sealing. And oftentimes you'll see all across the city what appears to be black rubber being placed on the roadway. And the purpose of this is to prevent any water from entering the existing cracks and getting below the pavement surface, which then as it freezes and thaws, expands and contracts and breaks up that pavement and creates potholes. So we had a contract in 2014 to seal some of the roadways in the city to help prevent that and provide a longer life to that section of roadway. And this is Weinbach Avenue, just north of East Division Street. Another location was on Riverside Drive, west of South Garvin Street, all the way to Veterans Memorial Parkway, as well as Columbia Street, west of North New York Avenue. So what are some of the continuing and pending projects that our office has currently? The first are proposed mill and overlay locations, which are already under contract to be completed by a contractor. They include Wimberg Avenue from Harmony Way to Mesker Park, Mesker Park from Wimberg Avenue to St. Joe, Virginia Street at Kimber Lane and Royal Avenue over around Great Harvest Bread Company, Green River Road at Virginia at the signalized intersection, Margie Beth from Hawthorne to the dead end, Burdette from Covert to Pollock, as well as the intersection at Belmead in Kentucky. We have two major pavement rehabilitation projects that are under contract currently, and as soon as the weather allows, the construction will begin on these two. First is Golfmore Road from Helfrich School to Harmony Way. There's a section of roadway that is experiencing deterioration due to some drainage issues, and so we're going to reconstruct that segment of roadway, replace two culverts, and mill and overlay the remaining segment of this project. And then also West Buena Vista from North Fulton Avenue to North 3rd Avenue. So if you're familiar with the north side, from West Buena Vista, where you would turn to go to North Park Apartments, up around the curve at Locust Hill, and continuing down Fulton Avenue, North Fulton Avenue. In the area between the apartments and the stop sign at Buena Vista and North Fulton, the pavement will be totally removed and put back along Fulton, and the remainder of Buena Vista back to North 3rd, we will mill and overlay that section of roadway. So we'll have a new surface on it. The pedestrian bridge over the Lloyd Expressway, State Road 66, is currently under construction. The utility relocations have begun, and construction will follow immediately after those are complete. This project came at a cost of $2.1 million, of which is 80% NDOT and federal highway funding. And this project is intended to connect the recreation facilities on the north and the future Roberts Park to the Southside State Hospital facilities, which are used extensively by runners and walkers currently. The next project is Safe Routes to School project for Teacup Elementary School, located on the west side of Evansville, just north of the Lloyd Expressway. At this location, we will be constructing median and pedestrian crossings. We're going to extend the curb line and bump it out so that you shorten the distance that the students and parents have to cross on Teacup, because the parking lot is located on the west side of Teacup and the school is located on the east. And we'll also make improvements to the adjacent facilities for pedestrians, including sidewalk repairs and installation of ADA curb ramps. And this comes at a cost of $315,000, which is 100% funded by the federal government and NDOT. And construction is expected to begin once school is out for the summer, so this summer in June of 2015. Last, for the ongoing projects is Washington Avenue and Weinbach Avenue intersection improvement. It will consist of a complete pavement reconstruction, all new signals and pedestrian facilities, sidewalks, curb and gutters, and the necessary drainage improvements associated with that, as well as a dedicated left turn lane for the east and west legs, or the east and west side of Washington Avenue, with those turn lanes lining up to one another so that you can see traffic that is oncoming in the through lane. This project came at a cost of $1.2 million, which is 90% federally funded, and its construction letting date was Wednesday, March 18th, and construction is tentatively scheduled to begin this summer, in the summer of 2015. Now, the pavement management system is not a physical project that the residents and users of our roadways will see construction occurring. It is a project in which the City of Evansville, along with other local agencies in the area, hired a consultant to drive a vehicle and collect 557 miles of roadway information in the City of Evansville using Geographic Information Systems, or GIS. And once we have that information, we then can implement it into several other softwares. And this information shows us all the types of distress that the roadway is experiencing, including cracking, rutting, and how smooth it is. And the very nice thing about this is we're also getting pictures and an inventory of all the assets that are in the right-of-way of the city, including the striping on the roadway, the sidewalks, the condition of the sidewalks, curb ramps, where the drainage inlets are, and what signage is currently existing in the right-of-way. This is a brief screenshot of what our office sees when we look at our information. So at each of the orange dots is a location at which data was collected and information was obtained. And when our office clicks on each of those dots, this screen will come up. On the left-hand side, the two long rectangular sections are images of the roadway mapping the different types of cracks and distress that the roadway is experiencing. And it has a thermal scaling to it, so the lighter colors, the blues and the greens, are less severe cracks, and as you move to the yellows and oranges and reds, those are showing the more severe cracks. And on the right hand side, There are 3 photos showing what the camera saw on the front left of the vehicle, the front right of the vehicle, and the back right. So we're able to collect all of the data about what assets we have in the right-of-way. As you can see in the picture in the top right, you can see a stop ahead sign is located at this location. And then from the back right, you can see that one of the local utilities has completed work on the roadway and has patched that section of roadway. So that's the work that we completed in 2014. Now on to what we propose to complete in 2015. Currently, the list that is displayed here is what our office has identified with the help of the residents of the city of Evansville, input from elected officials, and our own staff have identified as needs for this year. And they are as follows: the Lincoln Avenue from US 41 to Bakey Road from Lloyd Expressway to Washington, St. George from the railroad tracks, which is the city-county line, to 250 feet west of the railroad tracks. And if you're familiar with the area, that's where the pavement transitions from concrete to asphalt. Riverside Drive from Ohio Street, 2nd Street to Vine Street. Oak Grove Road at Kimber Lane. We're going to make some minor repairs to an issue that we have there. And then West Franklin Street from St. Joe to Mount Vernon Avenue, over in the area of Pierre Funeral Home and Sacred Heart Church. And then Mount Vernon Avenue from Franklin Street to Harmony Way, we will mill and resurface and overlay that section of roadway as well. Also with us is the Street Maintenance Department, as we mentioned earlier. The Street Maintenance Department is responsible for pothole repairs and alley repairs, all of which we discussed earlier in the presentation. Some information about our Street Maintenance Department: they do have a crew that is out year-round and fills potholes. And then when we have the pothole blitz for the city of Evansville, they increase those numbers to 3 to 4 crews and trucks, and so they go around identifying locations of potholes and getting those filled. And there are 3 ways to report those. Those can be called in to 435-6000. They can be identified and informed of in the Mayor's Citizen Concern portal, as well as on Twitter at EVV Potholes. And you can snap a picture and provide the location of the pothole, and that information will be forwarded onto the Street Maintenance Department.